Hey guys, it's Sensuki and welcome to my second video on the Beginner's Guide to Classes of Pillars of Eternity, and in this video I'll be playing a Cipher. I did get a couple of requests for a melee Cipher, but I'm also going to show off one of the tricks you can do with the Cipher to get a lot of focus at the same time. So I'm going to load my save. Okay, so what I've got here is I have a Half All-in Cipher. The reason I've chosen Half All-in is because of their passive racial ability, which is Minor Threat, and that converts 10% of hits to crits when attacking the same target as an ally. So what that means, if you're targeting the same if you're targeting the same enemy as an ally, there'll be a random roll that checks every single time you make an attack, and 10% of the time you'll score. If you roll 10% of the time that you roll a hit, you'll score a critical hit. And hits have a 50% chance to occur, so it will be 5% of the time that will proc. That's not, and that's only when you're attacking the same enemy as an ally, which will be pretty often with the Cipher. So it won't be quite 5% of the time, but it's just enough to make a difference. That actually used to be a very bugged ability back in the day, and you used to get way more crits than pretty much any other attack resolution, but they finally fixed the bug with it. Okay, so here I've got a level 1, I think I'm level 1. I've got a first level Cipher, and when I level it up, you get two power choices when you're a level 1 Cipher, and I chose Soulshock, which is a foe-only AoE. You have to target an ally. So the idea here is I would aim this spell on top of Kalisha when she's being attacked by enemies, and it will deal between 25 to 34 shock damage on a hit when it's facing no DR, 50% damage on a graze, or times 0.5 damage on a graze and times 1.5 on a crit, and obviously I've got a higher might, so that will actually raise my graze and crit damage. So with my stat sheet, I've gone a high intellect. It's not the maximum I could get with an all-in. I could probably get 19 if I had the old Valia talent. The old Valia culture, and I went with 18 dexterity because I think a lot of the time with this build I'll be casting multiple AoE spells or multiple disable spells at once, and if I can cast more of those at once, it means I can drop more of those on multiple enemies. So maybe it might be more useful than having 18 might and 14 dexterity. I'm not 100% sure. That's very theoretical. But getting off faster spells, dexterity is actually quite useful on the Cipher because the Cipher doesn't have a per rest limit on any of the spell slots. So you just have to have enough focus. So if you're acting fast, really fast in combat and building up focus again, you can just keep spamming out your spells, which is really good. So that's why dexterity is not a bad choice on the Cipher. Like not on every build. I wouldn't put it to 18 on every build, but I'm doing it for this one. But to be honest, Ciphers are a really offensive class, and the only 3 stats I would recommend putting any points into are intellect, might, and dexterity. And that's probably the same for most DPS characters because currently the attributes, they were okay, and then they changed them pretty late in the beta build based on their QA feedback, and I think was actually been kind of a negative change. It's made them pretty much more polarized than they should be. So hopefully in the future they revisit that. So, okay, I'm going to fight the wolves again.
I shall.
And I'm going to use stealth like I did in the last video.
Stay quiet.
Now I want Kalisha to be in front. And obviously my Cipher does have a two-handed weapon.
Of course.
However, I also have summoned in a blunderbuss for a demonstration, which I'll show later on.
I'm here.
And I've also, at the end of the video, I'm going to level up and show some of the progression, because that's what I really should have done in my first video. Okay, so I'm going to sneak up on the wolves. I'm going to get Kalisha to go in.
I shall.
Find out where the detection edge is. Okay, so when you're getting detected, just move out of the way. Alright, so there we go. Now I'm gonna go for a knockdown on that wolf, and straight away I'm gonna go Soulshock on Kalisha, and that's the AoE. The inner circle is the stock AoE, and the circle on the outside is the AoE from my intellect increase. And I can only cast one of these because level 1 Cipher spells cost 10 focus. So after I cast this, I'm going to have to attack a wolf to gain some focus back. Okay, so as you can see, that's done quite a bit of damage. 21 to that wolf, 12 to that wolf. I'm down to 5 focus. Now I'm going to run in and attack. I'm going to come in and attack the same one as Kalisha is. And my shots are... my mind... what is it called again? Soul Whip is now active, so I'm doing more damage.
What you need?
And I can also knock down that wolf too. Alright, so I've got 9 focus. I need 1 more to cast again. Whoa! 31 damage with a crit. Nice. Okay, so that went alright. Now, when you'll know when Soul Whip's active because your weapon will be purple. So I'll go and do the next encounter. Oh, I haven't picked up the berries. Whoops. That's right. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yes.
Okay. Pick the berries.
This is it. Indeed.
Uh-huh. Now we want to go back to where Sparkle fell. Nope, I didn't want to go into the level up screen. I think Cage Cursor keeps breaking when I'm in window mode, which is really annoying.
What a surprise. Sparkle went hunting.
I'll actually quickly fix that before I demonstrate this fight, because it's getting frustrating. Seems to be a bug with Cage Cursor, like if you keep alt-tabbing and don't actually click in the game window, it bugs it out. There we go.
Sparkle? Ambush!
Okay, so as you can see, my Cipher is just about to activate Soulshock. Now this is a bit different to before because that guy's targeting my Cipher, and so is that one. So I want to correct this positional mistake by moving my Cipher away. Hopefully that will get... Yep, there we go. So been hit with an arrow. I'm going to get Kalisha to knock that guy down, and what else have I got? I've got Mind Wave. And that, this is a cool spell. It does 11 to 20 raw damage, so it bypasses DR. It's got a fast cast time, and it's also faux AoE. So it will knock enemies in an area prone for 4.2 seconds. So I'm going to give that a shot. Did I fail the prone? Oh, it doesn't knock the actual person you cast it on prone. So that'll be good in the next fight.
What you need?
And I think Kalisha missed her knockdown too. So I might actually save that because that guy's going to go down in a sec. Hopefully, anyway. Alright, so scroll down. And now I'll knock down the archer who's pissing me off.
Yes.
Alright, so now I've got 13. I'm going to use Soulshock on Kalisha. And that destroyed that guy.
Come on, we have to get back to camp.
And now for the last one, I'll demonstrate the why blunderbusses are good on the Cipher. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We want to go up here. And into stealth mode.
Quiet.
Okay, so because there's 3 enemies here, I might actually use
what you need?
Too late, I have to pause the game. I might actually use the Mind Wave ability to try and knock these guys down at the start of combat. So let's see. Alright, we'll go with this guy. Get myself in the right position. Probably overstepped it a bit. With spells like this, you have to actually... It's cast from where you're standing, so that's what I want to do. I want to knock those 2 guys down.
What you need?
And I actually missed that knockdown. Okay, so it didn't actually knock any of them prone, unfortunately. Let's have a look at that. Unless it's not working properly, that's the only thing I could think of. Because it says it has a faux AoE that knocks them prone, but there's no attack rolls in there for it. So that spell might actually not be working properly. So I've knocked those guys down. Oops. Do you have a knockdown left? Nope. And on to the last guy. So as you probably gathered, Ciphers do pretty good damage. Alright, so that's how you use the basic Cipher level 1 spells, but there are more spells, and I'm going to show those when you level up. Okay, I'm just going to not bother with skills. Alright, these are the other level 1 Cipher spells. We've got Antipathetic Field, and keep in mind, Ciphers are getting they are getting some big changes in the day 1 patch, and a lot of their abilities are getting rebalanced because some of them are too strong, like Eye Strike. That's getting nerfed. That is a really strong AoE that blinds all enemies in the area, and blindness gives them like -20 deflection or something, so it's really easy to crit them. So that's going to be, I think they're reducing the AoE for that, or something like that. Tenuous Grasp frightens and confuses an enemy for 8.4 seconds, so it basically makes that enemy run around and do nothing for a little bit of time. I don't think it's as good as the one that I chose. If it actually did knock enemies down, that one's better because it hits more targets. Whisper of Treason charms an enemy for 14 seconds, which makes them attack their allies. But this one here takes 6 seconds to cast, which is bloody long time. So it might be really strong on boss enemies if you can actually like hit them with it. So cast a couple of buffs and then charm the boss enemy and get them to kill their own guys. That might be a good strategy to use for that. But of these ones here, if I was going to level up, I'd probably pick Eye Strike. Then you also get a new power, so that was level 2. You get another level 1 power at level 2, and then I get to pick a talent. Now the thing I wanted to demonstrate before that I didn't get a chance to is Draining Whip. Now the reason this is awesome is because, and this goes really well with blunderbusses and fast attacks because it gives an integer +2 to your focus on every hit. Now blunderbuss fires 8 shots, or 8 pellets every time it attacks. It makes 8 separate attacks. So when you shoot someone with a blunderbuss, you get the focus you gain from the damage, and then you get up to 16 extra focus just from one shot. And then that's great. So you probably cast that'll give you like 2 or 3 spells just out of that. Or two or three level 1 spells. So that's an awesome Cipher ability. Or Cipher talent, sorry. These are actually class talents for the Cipher. There's Biting Whip, which modifies the Soul Whip and makes it do 1.4 times 1.4 damage instead of times 1.2. So this is confusing because Soul Whip does 1 times 1.2 damage, and then this says modifies Soul Whip and times 1.2, so it actually makes it times 1.4. Draining Whip, I've just talked about. Psychic Backlash is pretty cool. When you get hit with a will attack, it stuns the person who hit you with it for 4.2 seconds. That's pretty fun. It's a passive ability, so you don't have to do anything to use it. And Greater Focus is a bit iffy because it gives +10 max focus, but you don't actually get that focus when you start off. That's just like the maximum focus you can have. And if you're playing the Cipher well, you're probably never going to be at max focus because you'll be casting spells all the time. So currently this focus here, this ability here, not very good. Wouldn't recommend it. Out of the choices here, I would either go Biting Whip or Draining Whip for the first one. And if you're going a melee Cipher, probably Biting Whip. Now this is level 3. I'm just going to skip skills because it doesn't matter. So now we start to get a bit interesting about the stuff we can get. Phantom Foes is pretty cool. It has like a visual effect, and it causes all of the enemies in the area of effect to be flanked. So I think you have to cast that. Do you cast it on an enemy? Yeah, either cast. All of these spells have to have either an allied target or an enemy target, and flank stacks with other afflictions, so it reduces their deflection by 10. So that can just make all enemies a bit easier to hit. I think they might be buffing that spell a little bit. I'm not sure. Amplified Thrust, you cast on an ally and it like jumps between enemy targets and does some piercing damage and pushes them back. That's not a bad one. Mental Binding is like Tenuous Grasp, except it's a quick one, and it disables an enemy, paralyzes them for 8.4 seconds, and then all of the enemies around it in the AoE, which is 2.96 meter radius, which is pretty big size, it sticks them to where they are, so they're inflicted with the Stuck Affliction, which reduces their dexterity by 2, their accuracy by 5, and reflex and deflection by 20, and they can't move. So that's awesome. So that's also a great ability. Mind Blades, you have to cast this one on a foe, and it jumps between them. I just talked about that. Psycho Vampiric Shield is a cool one if you temporarily want to tank as the Cipher, cast that on an enemy, it will drain 10 of their resolve, which will reduce their deflection and concentration, and it bumps your own deflection, and that lasts for a fairly long time. So that one there, that would be good to cast on someone that you want to make easier to hit and easier to interrupt. It'd be good on boss enemies and stuff like that. And the last one is Recall Agony. I don't actually know how good this is. It reapplies 30% of all damage over time. So that one, again, that's probably good against bosses because against individual enemies, they will probably die in a few seconds. So 30% of the damage done to them won't over 12 seconds. They'll be dead within that time, so they won't get a chance to actually suffer any of that damage. So that's a bit of a guide to the early levels of the Cipher. I'm not going to show off the content though because I don't want to spoil the content up ahead. What I could do though is I could come back with another save further on and demonstrate combat against a couple of different enemies or something. But I think this should be good enough. It should just give people just a bit of information how to play the Cipher effectively in the early game, and then as you go along, you'll become more experienced with the game, and you should be able to work it out for yourself. So once again, I'm going to post this up probably on the Obsidian forums, and I might make a Reddit post. I haven't actually done that yet. Let me know what class you want to see next. I should be here right up until the release date, or the time that the game comes out. So I'll be making videos all the way up until then.